Last week in the JBL Cup Series, we saw a chaotic Sunday night primetime short track racing at Richmond Raceway, which saw Trey Ball get his second career JBL Cup Series win, almost exactly 1 year later. And we were at that place, and we were at that race where Ball got win number 1. And here tonight, with 5 races to go in the 2025 JBL Cup Series season, we are at our final Super Speedway. It's the Powerade 400 at Daytona International Speedway for race number 24 of the 2025 and season 6 of the JBL Cup Series. What's up, everyone? It's Buenos Racing 97, aka Nathan Stapleton here, and welcome back to Daytona International Speedway for the first time since February, and now it is a whole different landscape than what we started the season with. We had no idea on who would be contending for this championship at that point, but now we do. Race number 5 or race 6 on the chase here tonight. 5 races to go here in the chase, and it's gonna be interesting on how this race could potentially separate the chase grid even more. But if the top 4 points all get involved on the wreck or have a bad night tonight, then that could even up the grid going into the final 4 races. We got Elijah up here on the booth for this one, and welcome to Daytona.
My God, it's really great to be here, and especially under the lights, man. You know, stuff's gonna hit the fan, and especially under the lights here at Daytona. I know I've repeated myself there, but you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm ready for this stuff.
Absolutely, Daytona's a wild place, and it's gonna be interesting of how this one plays out. Of course, in the Daytona 500 in the caution fleet, but the 14 did have a mechanical issue of some sort and spun on the apron, but no caution. So something like that could happen again here tonight, but it's definitely gonna be interesting, because normally the kind of interesting trend is that the 500 is normally very chaotic, and the 400-mile race here in the series is normally very calm. But it's gonna be interesting of how this one plays out. We have edited the ILI a little bit, so how do you think this race is gonna go for 40 laps here for race 24 of the season?
Well, history could definitely repeat itself when it comes down to what the theme of the races have been, you know, especially during the Daytona 500. You know, the races could get pretty chaotic, and then, you know, when we come here for the nighttime during the summer, it can be a little bit calmer, you know, with just a little bit more, I guess you could say, give when it comes to, you know, the summer races here at Daytona. But with the track conditions being a lot cooler than what they were when we were here for the Daytona 500, that means speeds are going to be up just a little bit more. But I would not be surprised if these drivers kept it 3 wide almost all the way through this entire race. So it's going to be a very interesting dynamic, and I can't wait to watch this, man.
Absolutely, and of course Daytona, anyone can have a shot, but we didn't really see a ton of it in the 500, maybe a little, but especially when we got to Talladega early in the season, we saw some specific teams like the Team Penske, like Haas, really be dominant. So we gotta see how that all plays out. A lot of them start up front, but you also got Joe Gibbs racing, all the others up here. So we gotta see how this all plays out. Here's the point standings entering race 24 on the season. Matthew Hubert, who was just on a incredible streak as of late, and he's trying to keep it up here tonight. And he has a 8-point lead over Logan Williams in second. Stuart Grant, I should say, is in third, minus 15 bet. Logan Williams minus 8 bet. And then Andy Miller minus 18. Those 4 all in fairly real striking distance. Duncan Ward is in fifth, 53 bet. CMDO is in 6th minus 57, Juan Garcia in 7th minus 59, John Edwards in 8th minus 66, John Anderson minus 67, and the Local Dawn and the Enable are both minus 68. And the thing is, if someone can break away from 5th through 11th in these final 5 races before we get to Atlanta, they could add themselves to the conversation of the top 4 with how close it is. But unfortunately, one of them is not going to be Ronald Cunnington, most likely, as he's in 12th in points, 108 points back. He made the chase this year, but ever since the chase started, it's been that rookie season slump has finally set in, and a lot of battle from last year has caught up to him again. And before we get through the top 10, here is where all the chase drivers start here tonight, and be prepared. A lot of them start in the back of the field, and that's going to be very interesting to watch out for. Local Dawn starts third. Ronald Cunnington starts in the 9th position. No, in 8th position, my bad. Juan Garcia in 12th. Nicholas Samadillo in 16th. John Williams in 18th. Matthew Hubert 23rd. Logan Williams 25th. Stuart Grant 27th. Aaron Abel all the way back in 32nd, Duncan Wood 33rd, Jordan Edwards 34th, and Andrew Miller, one of the favorites for his championship, starts all the way back in dead last in P36. But on the other hand, is Matthew Burnett on the pole here tonight. He was fairly strong at Richmond last week until he had a mechanical failure late, and he's on pole for this one. Alongside him is Bradley Ream. Local Dawn looking for win number 2, and Blaine Varga in the number 14. Kenneth Miller in the number 4, and Lopez in the 54. And then you got the number 2 of Justin Seidel and the 19 of Ron Kennington. And then you got Mr. Dual winner here at Daytona of Travis Crampton, who has the longest winner streak in the JBL Cup Series. And the number 12, the Darlington Southern 500 winner of Alex Sanvitali. 40 laps on tap. Here in the Powerade 400, this race normally is a lot calmer than the Daytona 500, but we've done some things to the II, and it's going to be interesting of what these rains will really be a factor here tonight, with them being in full effect at this point. But I'm going to give you the torch here, Elijah. This might be one of, if not the toughest places to make a prediction, but I'm going to put it on the spot. Here's do you think they'll win race 24 on the season, and underneath the lights for the Powerade 400?
Man, you know, this really does put me on the spot here, because it's Daytona. Anybody could win this race. What if you're starting on the pole and, you know, in giving Matthew Burnett, or even starting completely dead last in 42nd? But I gotta be honest, I would definitely go with John Andrews. I mean, especially with this experience in the series and even at Daytona over the years, he could definitely get the job done.
Absolutely, definitely one of those experienced drivers in the JBL Cup Series. 6th season veteran, won a couple of races ago here in the chase, and he still kind of has the chance. He's one of those drivers that he's not too far back from everyone else. He could still get a top 6 points finish here, and he might have a shot. And you know, that team's been on the roll. It's been one of the best teams this chase, with John Andrews and Logan Williams. But you see it, all these chases with these orange banners deep in the field here tonight, and that's going to be something to watch out for all race long. Race number 24 on the season. It's crazy that we've gone to this point already, and after tonight we will just have 4 races to go of, I believe, Gateway, Texas, Martinsville, and Atlanta. It will be Matthew Burnett and Bradley leading us to the green flag for the Powerade 400 and race number 24 on the season. Underneath the lights, chase race number 6 is green at Daytona. 3 by 3 by 3 already, and how about this 10th in points for local doing? A lot of chase draws still deep in the field here tonight, and this could be a halfway point surge for one of the top rookies this season of local doing, but it would be Bradley Ream leading lap number 1 in the Powerade 400, and this is going to be something all night long. We got 3 different lanes that really work here at Daytona, and it's just whoever lane has the best cars will get you to the front. You got local doing on the inside, Bradley on the outside, but in the middle. You don't really want to be in the middle here at Daytona because of the sucker hole effect. And Crampton, I thought he was going to make a move on lap 1 and make it like 3 or 4 wide maybe, but he thought better of it. And Bradley leaned to the point, and here comes the 14, and this is kind of what we saw a preview at Daytona in the 500. Varga was fairly strong, and these 2 Haas cars might be some of the best cars at the Super Speedways this season. Williams going to block the 14, and he's going to lead the first 2 laps in the Powerade 400.
It's very impressive to me that Bradley Ream is hanging pretty tough around the outside. I mean, of course, he hasn't really been put in the sucker hole, but you also have Rogel Dorn in this number 3. He's been holding pretty strong on the inside too. And I mean, another thing to point out as well, you know, there are some championship contenders that had started up at the front. They are taking full advantage of being at the front of the field. You know, you even throw in the 48 of Juan Garcia. He's up here as well. So some chase contenders, they're up here at the front and they're taking full advantage of it, while the vast majority of them started in the back and they've got their work cut out for them.
Absolutely. And of course, Daytona, this is a track where you can really have anyone to win. And unfortunately, in the middle is dropping back in the 21 machine, and he might lose the route. I believe we saw this in the 500 and maybe even at Talladega, so that 21 car is not set up for these Super Speedways. Blaine Varga was dominant early on in the 500, but had a early mechanical failure early on, and gonna have help from the 4. Tricane clear down the back stretch, but was not quite there, and now it's gonna be clear with the help of the number 4, and Dylan Matthews is gonna maybe make it 4 wide. Oh, the wreck behind him!
Oh, there
this
they
one
go!
turns Noah Clifton into the trial full. Don't know if anyone else is involved. Oh yeah, multiple cars.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Multiple cars. The one is stuck in the catch fence.
Oh my!
And Miller is gonna be able to get through that. And that's going to involve Duncan Ward and Jordan Edwards, 2 of our chase drivers.
Oh my, yeah, that is so unfortunate that we had a few chase contenders involved early in this one. I don't really have too many words for that. That was just completely unexpected, and we got Braden Varga currently leading the charge as they come back to the line to take the caution.
Oh my goodness, we were so focused on one of the 4 wide that was almost happening with, I believe, the 10 and the 7. We didn't even know it's Fitzwater and Clifton, 2 Aussies, ironically, turning each other down the front stretch. And that was bad. I believe BP Release, who one of the Lord drivers, backlash for you, both of the cars involved, but BP Release had a good one at Richmond, survived the chaos, got a top 15 one, I believe, and this week he gets stuck into the freaking catch fence at Daytona. And, well, like I said, this race tends to go caution-free for the second Daytona race, but not tonight. A early caution on lap 5 now, on lap 6 in this one.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. There's the 71. That would be Zachary Fitzwater. You had Andrew Miller back here as well. I would believe he made it through it, but he might have gotten some damage too. Might have to look at that once we go to a replay. There's the 31, Owen Miles, 24, Trey Bartow. There's just even the 43, man. Joe Rakowski. That's such a shame. Such a shame. Couple other playoff drivers involved, or chase contenders, I should say.
And that's the big one right there. Duncan with 5th in points. He's gonna have a ton of front end damage. And unfortunately, Barlow last week won at Richmond in dominating fashion. Unless they can fix the damage on the 24, might not be a factor here tonight to get his 2nd win in a row and his 2nd in a row in the Powerade 400. wicked crash to start off here tonight. And we're just getting started here at Daytona. The 14er Volker is out front, followed by a lot of force behind him. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first caution out of the night and get back racing here in the Powerade 400 at Daytona. Here we go, this happened to bring out the first caution of the night here in the Powerade 400. And this is coming off turn 4 on that 4, coming to the start finish line to start lap number 5. And Fitzwater just had a little bit of a gap to his inside, and unable decided to take it and forced Fitzwater up the racetrack into his fellow Aussie of Noah Clifton. And we were not really paying attention to this, as you see the 7 and the 10 kind of do the same thing, and that's what we were focusing on. But to Abel's credit, he left the door open, but at that point, Fitzwater was already making contact with Noah Clifton, and it was just too late at this point. And then what goes down must come back up, and unfortunately, that's what happened with Noah Clifton into Troy Barlow, Anthony Hernandez, Zachary Fitzwater back up the racetrack, BP Ruiz, Jordan Edwards, Duncan Wood, Owen Miles. And a wild incident for BP Ruiz. Got pinched into the wall multiple times. Took out one of the lights. That's not good. We got to fix the track light here at Daytona. And kind of got stuck on the wall and the catch fence at seeing the tri-oval. And then you see the 21 of Animal had to avoid the 71, 43, and the 24. But he was able to avoid it just fine, luckily. But a multi-car incident on that 4 coming to that 5 here at Daytona. And a tough break for a lot of those drivers, especially Jordan Edwards and Duncan Wood. I feel bad for Edwards ever since the chase started. The consistency has gone away, and then Duncan Wood was just getting consistent, and 5th in points is going to end here tonight. Let's go ahead and take it full speed and get back to the restart here in the Powerade 400.
Well, you see it right here. 3 wide coming off at turn number 4. Aaron Abel's going to peek the nose underneath of Fitzy. And Fitzy's going to give him all the room in the world and just doesn't take into account that Noah Clifton's right there. Gets into the 99, sends him through the grass, and just cleans out several cars, including the one of BB Ruiz, who just got pinched up against the wall and into the catch fence. And I do agree with you, Nathan. We are definitely going to have to spend a few $100 just to replace one of those caution lights there. But man, oh man, that was just such a scary incident for Noah Clifton and several other drivers involved in this one, especially for some of our chase contenders, Duncan Ward, Jordan Edwards, just to name a few.
Absolutely. That's one of the worst spots to get turned, is off of turn 4 and right before the tri-oval, because like I said, what goes down must come back up, and unfortunately the 99 got turned right into the field, and unfortunate fail for Duncan Wood and Jordan Edwards, as they are going to have some damage, and Duncan Wood's going to be out of this race. But we still have a lot of cars left in the running here, and it would be the number 4, I believe, as the race leader. And you gotta see what ends up happening. It's gonna be 32 laps to go here in this one, and actually I think it's gonna be the 14. So it's gonna be Ace Duhan's car leading us to the back to the green, and we still got 32 laps to go. So let's go ahead and see what will happen here in the Powerade 400 for race 24 on the season. Well then, welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, and of course I jinxed it at the start. You know, I said that this race tends to go caution-free a lot of the time for the night race at Daytona in the JBL Cup Series. Well, I staple jinxed it early on, and you had a couple of cars out, and you had one into the catch fence. And unfortunately, not a good night for the team of Trackhouse, and I hate for you to see this, Elijah, but both the 1 and 99 are out from that crash. And then the big heartbreaker right there, 5th in points, Duncan Wood is also out in the number 8 machine. There's several other cars that were involved in the multi-car incident at St. the tri-oval. like the 31, the 43, the 9, 71, 24, and the 6 were all involved. A couple of them don't have back bumpers, 3 of them to be exact, but honestly, a lot of the cars that went down pit road to fix their damage might have done a good job. Just gotta have to wait and see. Gonna be 32 laps to go, still a long way to go in the Powerade 400. And it's Brian Volga, Bradley Ream, Kenneth Miller, Bruno Diacomo, Local Dorn, Juan Garcia, Dylan Matthews, Travis Crampton, John Andrews, and Nick Lopez, the top 10. Matthew made his way up in the number 5 machine, and luckily that crash only had 2 chase drivers, as a lot of them are moving their way up. So we gotta see how that all plays out. But for some of these drivers up front, like the 14, 22, 4, 10, this could be their last chance at a true win, and they are going to try and take advantage of it. Stuart won this race last year with Troy Barlow. Maybe they can do it again. 32 laps to go, and we are back green at Daytona. A great jump from the 14, and a even better start for Local Dorn in the number 3, but doesn't have any help at the moment.
Oh, he's gonna get it now because he's got the 7 machine, Dylan Matthews, down on the inside with Rugel Dorn. Another thing I was gonna point out about the other cars that were involved in the wreck that had that damage repaired and got sent back out. Watch for them later on. They might be a factor as we get later on into the race, because aerodynamics here mean absolutely everything. An ounce of damage makes all the difference.
Absolutely. The draft is an equalizer until you can't suck up to the draft, and a little bit of damage can easily affect you here at Daytona, and that could be a factor that we see for the rest of this race. How about Ronald Kennington on the move? He's still looking for his first JBL Cup Series win, and you know what? Last year, Troy Barlow got that here in this Philly race, so he could do the same thing. He's going to go from the top bottom to the back up to the top, and it's 1-2, and unfortunately I don't see the 41 at the moment. We won last year and won at Talladega with Alexander Rowe, currently in 24th, and this is what I think is what we will see. We got some of these fast super Haas cars up front, and they're going to try and control the field here early on, and you know what, maybe just get some laps in, because we only got 5 laps in before wet. But Local Dorn might be a little bit impatient, has not won since Auto Club early on, and might want a win and get win number 2 here tonight.
Oh, look at Travis Crampton making it 3 wide underneath of Matthews, gonna put her in the middle. Crampton down on the bottom, and then as well as up top, you had Kennington up there, but now you have Nick Lopez in that 54. Trapped up on that top side, and that, I mean, the best part about 3 wide in a small pack like this is that the risk of having a big wreck is a lot lesser than what we would have if all 42 cars were bunched up together.
Absolutely. If the entire field is all bunched up, then that would be a big time problem, and it's being a problem, unfortunately. It looks like we are only going to have about 22 cars in the lead pack. Some cars might have been stuck behind, some damaged cars like the 17, 15, 42, 51. And then Miller, he was off tonight. He was just slow in that 21. And then obviously Zachary Fitzwater, Anthony Hernandez, Bukowski, Jordan Edwards, and Troy Barlow, and Owen Miles. All those guys have damage, and we missed the pass for the lead. I put it Alex. Bradley to the race lead now, but here comes the number 4 of Kenneth Miller, and this is kind of like the field size of, say, the Daytona 500 in the before the 500 in these dual races. About 22 cars. We got 22 cars in this lead pack.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if there are just 22 cars, they're going to be racing like it's the last lap. Coming up to 7 laps to halfway, you got Rugel Dorn going to lead that inside line and pull up alongside the 4 of Kenneth Miller, leading the second lane. I'd also watch for Crampton too, because Crampton could make it 3 wide as well. He made it 3 wide a little bit earlier on, just about a couple of laps ago to obviously to improve his position. And now here's second car on the inside line. I mean, he is kind of peaking it just a little bit, but you also have to watch for the 5 of Matthew Hubert. He could also stick his nose down to the inside of the 45 of Crampton and spoil the party for him.
Absolutely, and that's
what's gonna happen.
And that's almost instantly. Now Crampton's gonna be in the middle of the sucker hole, and I will say, Jordan Stout won the Daytona 500, and he's been fairly consistent all season long. Kind of fallen off in the chase since he didn't make it, but Crampton's gonna be able to get into a line on the outside lane with some Toyota teammates. Lean from the top to the bottom on the inside. Fantastic racing, even though we only got 22 cars in this lead pat. And that's the interesting thing about this race being so late in the season. All these lanes have built up, and some teams have really worked on these super speedway cars all season long. And how about Hubert making another move on a fellow chase driver of local Dawn?
I think the last lap around, I think Matthew Hubert might have been listening into the broadcast and just said, hey, watch this, hold my Coca-Cola. And he's doing it again for the second lap in a row, putting Vogel-Dorn in the middle. My goodness gracious, Matthew Hubert in this 5, he is a man on a mission right now.
The point leader, I forget the stat, but LT said in the Discord that he's like 11 top 5s and 13 or 14 top 10s in a row, something crazy like that. Just absolutely insane role that he has had all season long, and he wants to win number 3 here tonight. And remember when we were all 2 wide, Elijah? Well, now everyone is 3 by 3 by 3.
And Hubert just made it 3 wide again. This time, it's for the lead. He put Ream in the sucker hole. He's not going to have the advantage this time across the stripe. Give that to Kenneth Miller on the high side, that third line. But boy, oh boy, Hubert is literally driving the wheels off this thing. He made it 3 wide 3 times in the same spot heading into turn 3. And now he's going to try to gun for the lead with a little bit of help from the 38 machine heading down the backstretch. Oh no, he just went up to the middle. May not be the wisest idea here. If he could just slice back down to the bottom. Yep, there you go.
And this inside lane is moving because he got 3 chase drivers all on this inside lane. Monaco, he's been fast this season but not had the good luck. And then you got San Mateo and another chase driver, and then a couple of Penske drivers. Those cars are fast at Daytona and Talladega, so that inside lane is just wicked fast at the moment. And here we go. We are going to deal with these slower cars the rest of the race. Welcome to typical Daytona and Talladega. Rains, era or not, we always deal with these slow damaged cars, and this is going to be a bad spot into turn 3.
Oh, these guys are going to have nowhere to go. What are they going to do? They're going to try to split the 31 and the 24 down the middle. That's going to cost Hubert.
Oh, man.
And look at everybody on the inside line. They're pretty much going to take this as a free ticket to go right on by. And that's going to string just about everybody out for the time being.
Welcome to Daytona with lap cars, and that's unfortunate for Hubert. And that number 5 as they are really shuffling these drivers out.
Oh,
Crampton
my.
on the outside, gonna get blocked by Barlow. Andrews is gonna, oh my goodness, we are splitting the 24. And normally you would say, oh, that's it for these guys. Not necessarily, because we still got the 9 and the 43, and we got the 6 and the 71, and possibly the 21. We still got a lot of damaged and or slow cars that could be a factor, and I've seen it plenty of times before where lap cars and slow cars merge a certain way and they cause caution. So that's another. How about Enable? Where did he come from? He was one of many chasers. Still deep in the field in this one. Into the lead goes Enable, the winner at Michigan, trying to win number 2, and try and have some kind of momentum go Joker's way. But how about that switchback move from Kenneth Miller?
That was some crossover heading down the back straightaway. But what are they gonna do when they get up to the 9 of Jordan Edwards and as well as the 43 of Rutkowski? They're making their way down the front stretch as these guys come off of 4.
This is gonna be very interesting. Got a second pack growing of being led by Jordan Edwards with John Andrews, I should say. Gonna be interesting if they can close back in. This will definitely help them. As hello, Jordan Edwards and Joe Rutkowski. They're gonna try and split these two. And April's gonna be able to actually
no, he's gonna block the bottom. They're both gonna block the bottom.
And now here comes Diacomo with a huge one of speed, and that's gonna allow this pack to close back in as well.
That is exactly what they needed, because now, since the leaders had no idea what they were gonna do with the 9 and the 43, they kind of just blocked every single line imaginable up to this point, and that is some great news for that second pack. Look at them all catch up like rocket ships. Whoa!
Ken Miller gonna pick up his teammate of Al Sandoval, the Talladega runner from earlier in the season. Jordan Southwell's gonna say, "Nah, I want this inside lane." But does he though? Because now they're gonna get stuck by the 43 of Joe Rutkowski, and this is the thing I don't like about Daytona, but this is the product of what we end up seeing when we have a wreck on lap 5, lap 6 with these slow cars. But out front is Alan Abel, it is Nicholas Samadillo, and it is Logan Williams. 3 chase drivers up front. Abel trying to get win number 2 on the season, Logan Williams trying to get win number 4, and then Samadillo trying to do what Barlow did, be a chase driver, trying to get the first win in the JBL Cup Series and win the Powerade 400.
My goodness gracious, man. This race, I mean, especially after that first caution, that one and only caution so far in this event, as we're nearing 15 laps to go, it has been flipped, shaken up, and tossed around, especially with all these lap cars. Look at how strung out these guys are. But I would definitely tell you, because of the ratings, I would definitely guarantee you that by the time we get to the end of this thing, these guys are going to be just as bunched up as they were when we restarted this thing.
Absolutely, especially, you know, we got a little bit of a break with a lap car of Hernandez, and it's only 1, 2, it's actually 3 lap cars, so that could be interesting. But they got some time to regroup here and bunch back up. 14 to the lead from help of Sam Vitale, but I thought Sam Vitale was going to go straight up to the outside there. And it's going to be interesting of how this all plays out. Sam Vitale in second, Farga in the race lead. April, Sam Badillo, Diacomo, Burnett, Kenneth Miller, Logan Williams, Alexander Rowe, who won at Talladega, trying to get his second Super Speedway win on the season. And then the 2 of Justin Zeidel. That is this lead pack. You got Glenn, who's kind of in between the lead pack and the second pack, looking a lot more aggressive and a lot more cars in that second pack. And I agree with you. I think with how the lanes are and with how that second pack had more cars and more bunched together, I think they might be able to catch up with these lead 10 here in a couple of laps.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with that one. I mean, you know, with how many cars were in that second group and with how racy that they were, I mean, even with just as how racy they were, at the same time, they were pretty organized. So I would definitely see that second pack possibly picking up the 47 of Stuart Gratton on their march back to the lead pack.
Absolutely. See here, they did gain a little, I think, last time by, or maybe they lost it. I'm not entirely sure. Now Ream is leading the second pack. And crossover, here we go, and label in number 11, side by side, but Farga's gonna help a fellow forward on the outside lane. And it's gonna be interesting. Toyota, of course, trying to sweep Daytona. Jordan Stout won the 500. And Abel trying to win here tonight, but Sam Vitale trying to get win number 2 on the season as a non-chase driver. And that second pack has caught up with Glenn, so we'll see how that goes, and we will see how this goes. Of Hernandez gonna hold up the outside lane.
Yep, there goes the outside.
Oh, Bonnet.
My goodness. Oh, look at the 77. Samadillo saying, I don't want to be up here. I'm going straight down to the inside. Look at Zidell clearing up in front of that number 6 machine.
And Logan Williams going to get the short end of the stick of that one. That is going to allow this Pat to close back in a little bit. But now
yeah, I was going to say,
wide.
look at that. Yeah, look at that, because that was all that second group needed. They needed that lead pack to catch up to the 6 of Anthony Hernandez and have almost absolutely no idea what to do with them. And just because of how strung out they are, they caught up. But now this second pack is having to pay the price.
A couple of oh my goodness!
Whoa!
Oh, Kennington chops off the 34 of Andrews. Really wanted to get clear of the 6 machine because they know that if they want a shot at the win, they have to get past Hernandez ASAP. And looks like some drivers are going to be able to get into this lead group, like Hooper and a couple of others. April and Sam Vitale still going at it for the race lead. And how about Kenneth Miller? Kenneth Miller's done this a few times this year where he's had potential. Even though it's not been great, he's 28th in the point standings. He's had some good ones, 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s. And he might have a one to get a win here tonight at Daytona. But we're getting down to crunch time. Only one caution so far. Who says we won't have another one with the lap colors and with just how we are racing. But it's going to be 11 laps to go next time by.
And obviously with each lap that ticks right past, the intensity rate just gets higher and higher and higher with each lap that passes. And and as we get towards the end of the event, these drivers are going to take it just a step further. So we're going to have to watch and see what happens here.
Absolutely. I do think some of these drivers will be able to close back in. Especially depending on what ends up happening with some of these slow cars. Of course, one of them being Zachary Fitzwater and oh my goodness, that's a lot more than oh my goodness.
Oh, they're gonna catch up to the 24 and 31 again. This is not good news for that lead pack, because now they're gonna be more stacked up than they've ever been. Watch this as they come to 10 to go.
10 to go. 31 and 24 just ridiculously off the pace.
Whoa! And they're gonna hold up both lines.
This is oh my goodness, look at April.
Oh my goodness. That's a saving grace for Lopez, Kennington, all those other drivers that were single file behind them. Look at them all file in.
And we could have about 19, 20, 23, 22 cars possibly all in this lead pat. But for how long, I don't know. This is very weird. But now look at this. Bono is being this smart guy here and just letting all these drivers go past on the outside. Meanwhile, and Abel's still out front, catching up to Zachary Fitzwater, who caused that crash. And
look at Sam Vitale with the head of steam.
Sam Vitale might make it 3 wide here.
3 wide. What in the world is happening?
Welcome to Daytona. Oh my goodness, Sam Vitale. Well, not Sam Vitale. I was saying, whoa. About took out his teammate up Giacomo.
Holy cow. Alexander Rowe almost came down into the nose of his own teammate of Giacomo and almost cost him a chance at winning this thing.
Sam Vitale in the race lead. Volga in second, April third, and Alexander Rowe might get his second Super Speedway win in the row. One at Talladega, now he's trying to win at Daytona.
Oh my goodness gracious, though. From almost getting wrecked out by his own teammate, now to second, now getting a little bit of help from the 10 of Giacomo, but look at the 11 of Abel. He's going to go up to the outside. You also have the 14 of Braden Varga. Of course, he's still leading the charge in that 14, but this is actually great news of what he's seeing in his rearview mirror, 3 wide, but also has got his teammate. That could be either good or bad news for Braden Varga, because Giacomo could be a team player and push his teammate to the win, or try to go in and win it for himself. But you also got Juan Garcia in this 48 trying to make something happen as he's taking a 3 wide as they go into turn 1. But he has no help for the moment.
No help at the moment. Looks like Miller is able to keep up with this lead group, so what could have been for that 21 team. And I will just say it's still odds 1, 2, 3. And looks like Wilson is actually keeping up pace as well, being behind of Alexander Roll. And it might be a still odds 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Here comes the 4 of Kenneth Miller as well.
How about that for Kenneth Miller? Remember, but Miller doesn't have any friends down there on the inside, but coming to 5 to go. Well, I mean, in another lap or so, we got 6 to go right now, 5 next time by. The gloves have essentially come off. All deals that you made, yeah, no, throw those out the window. Your friends are where you find them. Teammates are not. And SHR currently 1, 2, 3, now 4. As Kenneth Miller edges ahead of Aaron Abel on that inside line.
I didn't know we were back in 2018 for Suarez Racing here tonight. If you know, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very impressive for them to do this, but they still have 5 laps to go. They still have a couple of lap cars with the 9 and the 43 that we will catch up to in due time. And that could really spell disaster for some of these drivers. Meanwhile, I don't really like the second pad right now. They're just racing way too hard for themselves here. I know Hubert has a good car, but these guys behind him need to get singled out here, especially late in the going if they do catch up with Jordan Edwards and Murkowski, which looks like they will. But impressive stuff from Suarez Racing. It almost looks like Alexander and Kenneth Miller are blocking and just allowing Giacomo and Varga pull away.
Yeah, it's like they're playing defense. As you know, you've got the 4 SHR cars. They're leading the charge, but I'm not sure if Alexander Rowe's going to be able to stay up there for long, as he's going to get held up by the 43 and the 9.
And look at all those 4s that just got passed. Here comes the 4 of Kenneth Miller to the inside of the number 10. Alexander Vitale, Logan Williams, Juan Garcia, and Abel all in the midst. It's definitely a goofy odd race, to say the least, but welcome to Daytona. Don't know how to even, like, fix this, but anyway, the 14 Volga pulling out to a decent gap with 3 laps to go. But what will Logan Williams and Alexander Vitale do? They've been some of the stronger non-Suarez Racing cars, and same with Aaron Abel as well. So, still got 3 laps to go, still got some time left, but the clock is slowly running out in the Powerade 400.
You also got Juan Garcia back there as well. I mean, in the 7th position. What looks to be the highest running Chevy in this lead group right now, and the lone Hendrick car in the top 10. So pretty much he could work with just about anybody here and try to have a shot at winning this thing as they come to 2 to go this time by. Look at Miller down on the bottom, taking it away from Braden Varga. Looks like he's going to try to go win this for himself, but he's got 2 more laps.
2 more laps, and you know, no pressure to Kenneth Miller, but he has to beat one of the best drivers in the Reigns era of Logan Williams in the number 38. Don't know where he even came from, but it looks like he's going to have a chance at taking the point lead, as Matthew is nowhere to be seen. Look at San Vitale, 3 right through the middle, possibly from help from Abel.
Oh my goodness.
Very tight. And Varga's going to use that to his advantage and go on the outside, but San Vitale's not going to work with him.
Man, that was such a that was almost a gutsy move for San Vitale. I mean, he gave the 14 a good enough push to try to get around Miller on the outside, but San Vitale is like, nope, I'm going to try to go win this for myself. Takes a peek to the inside with 1 to go.
The Powerade 1 to go, and the Powerade 400. You got Stuart on the outside, but outside lane is not hooked up. Look at Abel giving one heck of a push to Alexander Vitale. They are going to get clear, but what will Abel do? What will Volker do? Is Volker going to help with the stay with the 4? Or is Logan Williams going to fill that gap? Sam Vitale is clear. And now, what's going to have help from the number 4? Abel will have a shot down into 3 and 4. But I don't think it's going to be there. He's going to have no help. The 4 of Kenneth Miller's going to get maybe clear of Abel here. Going to try and do a slingshot move. It's not going to be enough. How about this? Win the Batu on the scene for Alexander Vitale. Wins at Daytona. Won the Southern 500 at Darlington. And now wins at Daytona in the Powerade 400.
How about that for Alexander Vitale? What a drive for this Penske team, especially for the 12. They go to victory lane for the second time this season, and in a very wild, wacky, and somewhat chaotic night race here at Daytona. How about that?
Oh man, for a race that normally is fairly calm for the night race at Daytona in the Cup Series, that was anything but calm here tonight. And same with Vitale, I mentioned at the top of the show, Penske and Stewart tend to be really good at Daytona and Talladega in the reigns of the last 2 seasons. Don't forget, last year in the Daytona 500, Wiley Tube in the 500 only car won the Daytona 500. Now, Alexander Vitale, 3rd career win, I believe, now in the JBL Cup Series. And win number 2, that's going to be the most wins out of a non-chase driver this season with 2. And that is 2 races in a row where a non-chase driver gets the race win. Whew. What a race. That was a 35 or 32 lap chaotic race to the end. I'm not really happy with how that worked out. I don't like how the lap cars is such a factor here at Daytona, but it didn't really play out for the race win itself. Sam Vitale, Kenneth Miller, Varga, Abel Garcia, Giacomo, Logan Williams, Alexander Rowe even, not Alexander Rowe, but the top 7, they were able to race out themselves. And Sam Vitale knew to not look for the Stuart Haas cars. They temporarily alliance between Sam Vitale and Abel, and Sam Vitale gets the race win here at Daytona. Well, gets 8th, Seidel in 9th, and then Alposa, Matthew Burnett gets a top 10, Lopez in 11th, Nico Sam Dio in 12th, Kennington in 13th, Crampton in 14th, Matthews in 15th, Ream, Dorn, Monaco, Stout, Hubert, top 20. And that's going to be interesting, because I believe it's easily going to be Logan Williams as the new point leader. Graham with a rough night, Hubert with a rough night, Miller with a rough night, Duncan Ward with a bad night. Same with Dio all the way back, decent night in 12th, but he was all the way 57 points back. So, the big time winner is going to be quite possibly the best car up to this point this season, or one of the best, of Logan Williams. It's probably going to be the new point leader going into Gateway next week. Wyatt Wilkinson 1 lap down, and the Miller 1 lap down based off just pure speed, and I think the same was said for Wyatt Wilkinson. And then honestly, everyone else that was the 1 or 2 laps down was because of them being involved in the lap 5 crash. Zachary Fitzwater and Hernandez 1 lap down. Wachowski, Edwards, Boto, and Miles finished 2 laps down. And then Duncan Wood, Noah Clifton, and B.B. Ruiz round out the grid. What a chaotic race. That was a very chaotic 32 laps dash to the finish. And I will say before we caught up with eventual lap traffic, that was a lot of fun with 22 cars in the lead pat. But this whole race was a lot of fun. They were able to swap positions all over the place, even when the pats were separated, and even when you had some really fast cars up front. So that was fairly promising. But regardless of the fact, St. Vitale gets the win number 2 on the season, and that is the third win for Team Penske here this season. And it's going to be a what-if type season, because San Vitale could have made the chase at one point, but a good win from that 12 team. A lot of race at Daytona, and nothing like what we normally have seen in the night race. But what's the final thoughts, Elijah, here for the Powerade 400?
Oh man, I would definitely have to agree. Chaotic definitely sums up this whole entire night. Lap cars definitely were a factor more than ever, which I mean definitely kept the drivers on their toes. I mean that's a fact. But at the end of the day, or at the end of the night, I should really say it all came down to a vast majority of the Fords. I mean between SHR and all four of the cars really, and then Logan Williams, of course, whom we haven't seen. We might as well call him the JBL Cup Series version of the closer. Maybe next time he comes out of nowhere and wins a race. But at the end of it all, of course, Alex San Vitale stands tall and gets a second win on the season. I would definitely say San Vitale was probably one of the other drivers that I kind of had on my radar as, winning this race, given that Penske cars have been pretty strong here at Daytona in the past, especially earlier this year in the Daytona 500. But nonetheless, this was definitely a really great night. And, it's definitely going to be pretty interesting, especially with what the championship is going to look like amongst the chase contenders leaving here tonight.
Absolutely, and I gotta agree with you. I've kind of circled San Vitale as one of my top cars outside of the Steros cars. That's incredible. They showed a little bit of speed in the 500, showed a ton of speed at Talladega, and then here tonight they matched on that speed with getting a second, third, sixth, and eighth place finishes. And unlike last year, it was not a rookie that made it into the playoffs with chase. Now you got me doing it into the chase. We don't do the playoffs anymore in here. But a lot of race here at Daytona, as it always is. But we are done with the super speedways for the year. And we got 4 races left, and we got 2 at each of the track types. We got 2 short tracks and 2 speedways left of Gateway, of a hybrid of a short track and a speedway. Texas, that's gonna be a good one, and then Martinsville short track racing, and then of course Atlanta for the season finale. Thanks for Elijah for joining me up here on the booth for this one. You at Daytona. Next week we will be at Gateway for not only the JBL Cup Series, but Krispy Kreme National Series will be back after the final off week. And it's really getting down to crunch time. 4 races are left in each series now: Gateway, Texas, Martinsville, and Atlanta. And of course, during the, I believe, Martinsville and Atlanta weeks for National and Cup, we got the kickoff of the return of the Powerade Trust Series as well. So that's going to be a very busy time. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see who ends up winning the Season 6 JBL Cup Series Championship in just 4 races. Congratulations on San Vitale on the race win. And we will see you guys next weekend at Gateway Motorsports Park.